Hey, video game fans, this is Matt, back for some more 7 Days to Die. As we have just entered the month of June, the new update, the new 2.0 update, is due to be out within the next couple of weeks or by the end of the month, depending on what systems you're using. I'm on a PC, so I'll get it earlier. Um, well, as we are approaching that day, the old 1.4 saves will no longer work, as everybody has been told. I'm not real excited about that because I have some games going and some bases I've spent hundreds of hours building, and I was looking forward to making more improvements on. And pretty soon, those games will be, no longer playable without going through a bunch of rigmarole that I just don't want to deal with. So, in lieu of that, and in anticipation of new games to be played, if I feel up to it, uh, I wanted to say goodbye to my old bases. uh, and so I'm going to do a quick visit to the 3 games that I have running. This is one I just started about a week ago, and I was just playing it. I built this little. It's just an outpost here at Jerry's Fill, and I wanted to start here because I'm not going to be playing uh, this particular save game probably again because there's no point. I stopped playing it once I heard the announcement that all the old saves were going to be unplayable. I mean, I wasn't real surprised. I just knew that they were adding a bunch of weather and the environmental stuff, and I didn't realize they were going to be, making all of the old games completely unplayable. I mean, every time Conan Exiles comes out with a new version, they don't make all the old versions obsolete and no longer playable. So I don't understand why they have to do that here. Maybe they've added and taken away a bunch of things like they did when they went up to 1.0. I know that they removed some graphic elements, they removed all the clothing stuff. So rather than having all that stuff just vanish from your inventory, I guess you just say, well, we're going to make you play a new game. That's fine. I'm not too bitter about it. I understand the concept. Hopefully, there is enough new content and enough changes in the content that makes it worth it. Because I'm telling you, if it's not, I'm going to be a little upset. But anyway, this is the little outpost that I built on top of Jerry's Fill. No big deal. I just wanted to, say goodbye to my little save game here. This world was, I built this on a very small world, the smallest world that I can create in the current version of the game. Um, I got the forest here, and we're right on the edge of it. This is the edge of the map right there. And the snow biome is right up here. The wasteland is right here. I ran to those. These are just outside of town. Really get an idea of the size difference in these games. This map is really small, and I was really looking forward to exploring these areas without having to, spend half the game working towards building a vehicle to travel cross country. I mean, I can literally run to the nearest big city. The biggest city on this map, I think, is in the wasteland, and it's in running distance from where I started the game. So I was looking forward to exploring this, and there's no point to it now. Um, this was the building blocks. I was looking forward to building a little house up here, and I had the walls kind of started. I got some doors and roofs built. It's a pretty defensible spot. If you've seen any of my other videos, I don't, make these bases to defend against the horde during the 7 day uh, blood moon events. And I actually put my sleeping bag over here with the other sleeping areas because this is easy in and out. But anyway, this game I can say goodbye to. I have 2 other games saved under the current format. This is my old game that was obsolete when we went to 1.0. This is just one of the 1.1s. I never advanced into the 1.4. The 2024 start is the one that I've been playing the most and the longest. I've got lots and lots and lots and lots of hours in this game, and I'm really to be honest, I was getting ready to retire this one because my character in the game has already got all of its skills. I've already got everything built. Really, the only thing left for me to do here was to continue to make new improvements on my bases. I was kind of looking forward to doing that, but it is a little long. I do enjoy the process of leveling up the characters and getting their new skills and getting stuff and building a new base in a new location. This one was a little too grounded. It was on a I don't know, a medium-sized map. I'm not even sure. It's not. It's definitely not a large map, and it's not the smallest map. Um, but it's a kind of a medium to small size. It might have actually been the smallest. Now that I think about it, but I'm not. It turned out pretty good. I got this thing. I mean, as you can tell, it's fully explored. There's nothing left for me to discover on this map. Um, I've got a couple of bases. I'm just going to do a quick run through of my two main bases on this one. I've already got videos on this of my updates, but so this is the NPD 3rd Division, the police station, of which I have, more or less fully fortified it. This has more to do with just protecting me when I'm at home. When the Zeds show up during the day or night, they are going to get obliterated, and I don't have to worry about going outside to defend my base every 5 seconds every time somebody shows up. I've got camera triggered blades down here, so whenever the Zeds come through here, they get eviscerated. It's a small town. This is one of the smallest towns on this map, so it's a very peaceful place anyway. I spent a lot of the early game exploring the big city and the desert biome, as well as the winter biome before I really started hammering hard into the wasteland, and that's where my big base is. This is my old base. This is the original, not my original base. It's my second base in this map. But this is one on a previous game that I was playing, I came across this police station and I thought, man, that would be a great place to build a base because it has this big wall around the outside of it. Um, and so basically, I learned how to play the game while living in this base. And I tried to do all the things, but this is largely for show. Yes, occasionally Zeds will spawn back here and try to walk towards the base, but this side, a lot of the defenses were built because I kept having these little random wandering hordes that would come along the side of the building and just destroy everything in its path. Uh, I've got lots of both submachine gun and shotgun turrets sticking out of the wall, the trench. I mean, nothing that comes down this hallway, which is also well lit at night. As you can see, I have spotlights in this that basically reflect off of this wall and makes this base just a killing zone for Zeds. I got my little pit, which is much deeper than it needs to be, but it looks imposing. I like it. And I have a camera triggered drawbridge, which I really enjoy. I fixed the door system here. We'll go into the base in a second. Into the building, I filled the big hole in the wall in the police station with just a big brick of nonsense. I got a little bit of garden out here, wherever I find an opportunity. Everything's powered up. I got a nice power solar array on the roof. The fort on the inside, I've got plenty of stairways that go up. I mean, this would be a legitimate fortified base. I never got around to, I was going to build a little tower over here, like an old-fashioned castle tower, but probably won't get around to doing that now. Again, I just try to utilize the space. I mean, I can lower that drawbridge and drive my truck right in here. It's a beautiful space. And the wall in the back, it isn't completely zombie proof, but I have adjusted my difficulty settings to where I like them. The default setting lets zombies just break through walls way too easily, and it really irritates me. I want them to be able to break through doors and walls, and if they want to break through wooden walls, great, but they just rip through these concrete and steel walls in a matter of an hour or two. And I'm sorry, that's not very realistic. They're still made of human flesh, and they could spend a decade beating on this brick wall and never get through it, and yet they can manage to just break through them in one night. That doesn't seem very realistic. This is my primary garden down here. I really was happy with this. This was originally just a level grass area. As you can see, that's where the tree is at. The tree wasn't here. I removed the old tree, the old dead tree that was here, and planted this one. But that's where the level grass was. But I can't garden in just regular grass. So I dug down a level and put in planters, and I wanted this to feel like, well, this is the kind of garden you wouldn't have to bend over to, to garden on your knees. You'll be able to garden at your waist. Kind of cool to put a little greenhouse thing over the top of it. Again, something I thought about, but it just seemed to be too daunting. Of course, I blocked all the old doors, so there's very few ways to get into the base. The way I used to get in was a hole in the roof. There's also a ladder over here. The Zeds know it's there, and so this is the way that they tend to try to get into my base. But if they try to climb up that thing, they end up bunking their head and they can't climb the ladder anyway. So I have turned off zombie spawns, so you won't get to see any of this in action. The rooftop. Okay, well, I built a little structure over the hole in the roof because I didn't want rain to come in. Again, it's just a role-playing type of thing. I built this big, water collector, which acts as its own little water tower, and I built the little piping thing, so it looks like this is the kind of thing, and it goes right down into the water heater area in the police station. I have, let's see, five solar banks. Yeah, five. Two on there. The two newest ones I built are up there. Those were to supplement the fact that my existing ones weren't generating enough power to power everything. These two here, and I got one over here, which was the primary one, but it powers most of the defenses over there, or at least some of them. The gyrocopter, which I still can't fly worth a crap, so I never fly them because it's just a waste of fuel if it's just going to plummet from the sky every time I do something. My water collectors. I found that there was an actual attic above the police station, and I decided, well, why don't I create a little access point? So I created an access point. There's not really using this space, but it's like extra storage if I need it. If I had enough people, I could turn this into an apartment. But that's that area. And some extra gardens and some little, try to take advantage of the space as much as I can. I put a little garden overhang here as well. I extended the garage. I'm going to go back down there because I'm going to go in through the garage. I needed a little more space in the garage, so I extended it, and you can tell exactly where I extended it because I just used concrete and didn't paint over it. And then extended the roof, made it kind of work. Put a new back door garage in here as well, so now I can go straight through the area that I can park my bikes or whatnot. Got one of my two chemistry stations here. I left the police car that was in here. Every once in a while it'll be full of stuff. I added a bunch of little lockers to hold my tools. I have another case to hold all my dyes. A few more here, a few more over here. I have all my automotive supplies over here, as well as like drones and pieces of vehicles in case I want to build another one. And then the vehicle mods and robot mods, I store them in there. So that's my garage space. Inside the police station, I've repaired the various doors. This one are the only ones that are existing that were, robotically unlocked. For me to get rid of these, I have to destroy them and then replace them with something, and I don't care. I can't build the jail doors. That's one of the things I wish they would let us do. There's a few doors that they don't let you build. You can't build jail doors. You can't build screen doors. There are screen doors on some houses and some of the outposts, the trader outposts. That'd be kind of a neat thing to add. It adds character to your doors and stuff. These are the existing boxes, which I essentially just use for the overflow of all the ammo I keep picking up because got so much ammo. I took out most of the furnishings in here, but as you can see, I never did get around to fixing the little cabinets, the original bedroll that I put in here to, kind of claim the place. So these were 3 holding cells. Of course, the middle one, I basically just turned it into a toilet. The other 2, I took the toilets out, and you have these little bed spaces, but because these are half-high brick locations, I can't place sleeping bag on them, which annoys me as well. And if you put a full block up there, it makes it look ridiculously tall. So, yeah. Some of the beds. You also can't build certain beds. You can build the full-size bed, but you can't build bunk beds, for instance. You know, there's a lot of furnishing things I really wish they would allow us, the players, to build. They're obviously graphics. They use them. They're in the game files, but there's no way for us to purchase them. There's no way for us to build them. So I'm hoping some future version will enable us to have access to those things. It's lovely that they're making all these new, monsters and these Yeti and all this environmental stuff. Great, a lot more challenges. But are they also going to add in a bunch of more, you know, doodads and decorative items for those of us that really enjoy the base building side of this game and not just the dungeon delving monster killers? Because if all they're going to do is make the game harder to play, I'm not going to probably play this much longer. I really wish I could take the things I love about the base building in this game, for instance, the paintbrush, and being able to basically build something and then make it look like whatever you want it to look like. I wish I could use that in Conan, because I think Conan would be, if I could take the best things I like about the base building stuff in this game and put them in Conan Exiles, and take some of the things in Conan Exiles that I like and put them into this game. The fact that I can build an elevator in Conan Exiles, but I can't build one in this game is kind of odd. I love this little space. There's a door on the other side of this I'd never fixed. It's a solid door, and so I stuck a refrigerator in that gap. Works perfectly. It looks nice. So this is basically my cooking area as well as my primary workstation. Down here is the dorms. So I got basically the bunkhouse is in there. I've got the waterworks in here. Again, this is kind of where they would pipe all that water and stuff from above. And there's the washer and dryer area. You can use this to, as you're drying clothes and whatnot, or it's just a little gaming area if people want to play some games. Storage lockers, which I use to store all my clothing items. My sets, these are all by set. So I just never got around to getting the maximum version for them. Obviously, this is my library, so I got my periodicals, um, as well as my book depository for all the different sets of books. I do have a complete set, I believe, for all of them. Only recently, too. There's one or two books that I'd already read them, but I had never found a second one to bring back, and I finally got those. All the mod specs that I have and duplicates and so forth. And then I got my armor mods in here. A lot of the extra armor mods are in the bathroom, which is here. There's the locker room. So, oh my god, I have zombie spawns turned off. I don't know what they're shooting at, unless they're shooting at animals. So we got two showers, and then I created these like two bath areas, one lower and one higher. So if you want to wash something versus like standing in it and whatever. And then the locker area, again, this is all armor. But then I had some extra locker space, so I threw in some of my overflow of my armor mods. But all the armor is basically in those lockers, and the ones in the locker room. Continuing the little tour. Essentially, the entire office area of this place has been converted into offices. Most of these are unfinished. Never got around to replacing the broken windows or removing some of the furnishings, but this one's a little more finished, but I built the walls before I knew how to change their shape, so they're big and blocky, and I didn't feel like replacing them. I did paint them finally, but as you can see, there's some bedrolls in here. It's a nice little apartment space. There's the ladder that goes up to, that I put in, that goes up to the attic crawl space area, and the hole that I replaced. I love the fact that I left the big hole, though. I think that gives it character. Again, this is the interrogation room. If I was playing with multiple players, somebody could easily use that as a bedroom or whatever. Then we got our little kitchenette area. Basically, this is for, again, the apartment area, so if they wanted to use this as storage. And of course, I've got the player vending machine. Got my stove. I was going to put the overhead light on there. I just hadn't gotten around to it. Put in a microwave. And the smoking area, which is the only area that has exposure to the outside. Of course, the zombies don't know that, so they don't break through that wall ever. But it's there. It's a potential weak spot, but okay. I left the bathrooms. I fixed them up. replace the toilets with normal toilets. Otherwise, they're just essentially what they were. Out here, I've got my melee mods, my gun mods, and then in this room, I turned it into a storage room, put in an authorized personnel only. I don't think that was on there before. Got a safe on the wall where all the bullets are. I didn't show this before in my previous playthrough. I forgot to go through the little floor safe that I put in, which has all my melee weapons. As you can see, a good collection of level 5s when possible, and 4s. I've pretty much gotten rid of all the lower level ones and sold them, with the exception of that one bat. So there was just a set of shelves over here, and I wanted it to look a little more, a little more secure. So I put in some steel stuff, which doesn't just basically is for appearance. I've got ammo down here. I got more ammo over here, plus the explosives. So this is the highest level storage, the steel storage crate versus the iron. Of course, the wooden ones are out in the hallway. Then, of course, I got the big beaver box safe. That holds all my guns. Again, as you can see, they're all level 4 or 5. And then I got some little doors. I got some half lockers back here. I was just using this to carry some assorted things, but again, I'm having ammo storage issues. Same thing over there, but that's empty and empty. But I kind of like the look of the storage room. Kind of give me a appeal. There's the back side of where that refrigerator is, so that's all locked up. Extra safe. I had to vacate all my bow and arrows and crossbows out of the gun safe because there just wasn't any more room, and I haven't found a better place to put them yet. So right now they're just taking up some space there. Some more lockers with some more weapon mods and ammo crafting stuff. And then I turned this whole entire back section into its own little apartment. I was going to put a table here. I haven't gotten around to that yet, and there's really no point to anymore. Little coolers. We got water. A bunch of fresh water there. And then back here, this is basically a big bedroom. Got the bed, the only bed I can build. We got a desk area, your own bathroom. Doesn't have a shower. I might have to do a little configuring. I could get rid of the trash can, maybe put in a wall shower there, because I'm not really using the space over here either. I covered up this outside area. This was actually the main entrance. Blocked it off because it was a potential weak point that I wasn't really spending any time over here. So okay, there is no basement to this place. I really love that. If you ever find this police station out in your world, it really does make for a great base. Yes, the Zeds will eat their way through the walls, so you're going to need to figure out either putting guns in or replacing the existing walls with things that are a little harder. But it's a really nice base location. You don't have to do it as far as I did. You really don't need all the outside stuff, but I got tired of them attacking the same weak points, and got a little electric fence in there too. Alright, I'm going to pause the game and I'm going to travel to my next location. I'll see you in a sec. Let's see. Alright, I'm not quite there yet, but I am approaching. Yeah, I must not have turned off zombie spawns in this version.
My senses have picked up something.
Oop, oop. There we go. I spent a lot of time digging this hole, so I wanted to show it off. Dug right through one of those little mountains. Now that I think about it, I don't want to be distracted. Doo-doo-doo. This is the only one I didn't turn it off, I think. My favorite outpost location in any city is the um, Crack a Book location that has the little room above the main store. I use it every single time I go to a city for the first time, and I want a place just to use as my temporary outpost. It's because I usually play a character that has leveled up his parkour skills. It's so easy to get on top of that roof, and the Zeds never really get up on top of it. So it's a very defensive location, defensible. Um, it's always obviously whenever you're in the developmental stage of playing, you want to get as many of those books and magazines as possible, and Cracker Books are the best locations to get all of those things. So I loot the place. I turn the little room above it as my little home away from home, if you will. But in this game, I decided to set down roots. I had already used a Crackabook location in the Burning Forest as an outpost, but this one ended up becoming my main base. Even though I'd already spent a lot of energy in the on the police station base, this one really, I don't know. I just kept setting down roots because it was in the wasteland. There's, every night I just go out and go to new locations, and it took a lot of time and energy to get it where I wanted to. This one does not have automatic doors like my other base, but it doesn't have the camera set up. But all right. I would have converted the chain link fence door that was here. I probably would have put a garage door over here, but I had already built this steel gate, and it takes so long to destroy steel. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to tear down what I'd already built, because otherwise that would have been more the ideal location. Instead, I just drilled right through the wall, and the Zeds kept breaking through anyway. So um, I did a lot of learning while I was here. I learned about painting. I learned about sculpting. Changing the shape of blocks that you place. And so a lot of learning went on building this base. So it really does have a place in my heart. Um, the garage door. I was going to shut that up. I even took the time to sculpt the ceiling in a way, because I had to replace the various what was it, the floor tiles up above. I didn't like the way they looked down here, so I found the right proper block to make it look like, aesthetically pleasing, so it wasn't just an ugly, weird angle. I did a lot of realism things, like there's obviously the door access to the garage. This door gives you access to the driver's side. This door gives you access to the engine area if you wanted to work on it. None of this is needed in the game, but it's realism. And then through here you can get access to the passenger side. But in order for me to do all of that, I had to have doors, because otherwise it's a weak spot and the Zeds will, go through them. So they don't go through the doors. Steel doors are very hard for them to break. They're more likely to go through the solid concrete walls. I've got a little garage apartment down here that I never got around to furnishing, and now I probably never will. And you can see the ladder over there. It goes upstairs. We'll get to that. I bricked off, walled off that entire area. Replaced the garage door with a working one. Never did get around to fixing this area. I've gutted some of the walls out, but that's about it, other than putting in an extra carpet or two. This whole part of the store is still relatively empty. I will say this: if you're going to build a base in an existing location, this was a godsend. To get a soda vending machine is fine. If you don't have a working soda vending machine, it's not the end of the world. But getting a working regular vending machine means you can get candy and food items in here every single day. This thing replenishes every day, so you can always come over here and get your pears. I always get sugar butts, and because I'm a stun baton guy, I'm always grabbing nerd tats because they give you the big shock radius bonus. The other ones, if I get them, I get them. I don't. The food items, I get what I need. I like to do spaghetti, so I like to get pasta. But having one of these that respawns in your base is fantastic. You can't build one, and it's possible that you get one if you're thinking, oh, I want this base, but the stupid vending machine's one of the ones that are broken. Do a mission that will for the one of the merchants that causes the thing to respawn, and maybe you'll be lucky, and the next time it respawns, it'll respawn in one that's working. So this was men's and women's bathrooms. Like basically left the men's bathroom what it is. So this is basically the bathroom. But the women's bathroom, I removed the toilets and turned it into a shower room with lockers, shelves, and so forth. Little bookshelf that I built around because I had to adjust my staircase and I didn't want to remove my stairs. And then there is the main bookstore area, which I've done the most work on, but I've still not finished. I still don't have lights down here. This is the existing light that was in here. Put some lockers in. I replaced this wall. Everything that is 2 blocks high is concrete or cobblestone, one or the other. At the very least, it's cobblestone, and it might be concrete. Everything that is above 2 blocks high is wood. I converted the building blocks to wood, and then I just painted over everything. So despite the fact that it all looks like it's a seemingly one type of wall, other than a handful of pillars that I actually have stone all the way up to the top or concrete all the way to the top, most of it is that. I left all the existing signage that was in here because obviously it's a bookstore, so it's character. But I converted the area because this was the checkout area for the bookstore. Converted it into a nice little bar area, like a cafe style bar with the seats. Got a refrigerator and the coolers. I put in the sink, a couple of stoves, made sure they looked different, looked like they were nice and salvaged. Put in a little work table next to the microwave. Got a little lounge area. There's my chemistry lab. I got a door that goes into the defensive area. A couple of large safes to hold stuff. Right now I'm pretty much just using it to hold some of my chemistry stuff, but got some guns and weapon mods down here if people want to grab it. I was going to convert this into a bedroom area. I'm not going to do that now. I'm not going to have enough time to invest in all this. Could be used as a meeting area, could be used as a dining hall. Again, I wanted to light this all up, but I'm not going to go through the trouble of doing it all now just for my own. This was going to be the primary garage area where you could work on your vehicles and stuff. I got the little workspace there, locker, got the working garage doors over here. But it turns out you need a garage door this big to drive a truck into, and this size is not big enough. And I really did not want to destroy the existing structure just to make a bigger door. So I decided, you can put your motorcycles and stuff in here, but the big truck won't go in here, which is why I put it in the back garage instead. And over here we've got a little lounge area. I figure this is a place where I could load up books, put the whole thing on bookshelves, maybe put a TV set in here. Again, never got around to kind of mastering that. I really wish I had the graphic sets that I could make these bookshelves look more realistic. I know there's ways you can do it, but they all look fakey to me. Again, if I could take some of the things I have in Conan and bring it in here, these things would look a lot more lived in. And then I got the main staircase that goes up into the base. We're going to look at outside here though first. Got another staircase that I put in that lets us go up to the roof. Door that goes out. So basically what is here, everywhere you see a gap was a pillar. And the first thing I did when I came in and fortified this place, once I had enough concrete, was that I put a concrete wall around between the pillars. Everywhere there was a pillar, I put concrete between it, and that helped create a buffer zone between the building wall and the outside, since the built concrete is going to be more durable than the concrete that comes, with the natural design. The Zeds rip right through this stuff. It takes them a lot longer to rip through solid concrete. Then, after I had the walls and I had the technology to do it, got a ladder up there, I replaced the pillars, removed them, and put in little gun installations. So everywhere there was a pillar is now a gun. I felt like the front of because the front facing, the parking lot only had two guns. I decided, well, I'm going to put in two more. So I popped out a hole, stuck a gun in, popped out a hole, stuck out a gun. So now the front of the store is well fortified as well. I got a bunch of guns on this side as well. The approach to the building. I have a shotgun that does nothing but shoot at anything that tries to break on the wall, and it did so much damage to the rubble that I just had to replace it all with cobblestone, which was a lot more durable. I do have a electric fence that completely circumnavigates the entire base. You can see the little red lights. It goes around the entire parking lot area. Basically, the Zeds run into it, they start shocking, and my guns start pelting them and finishes them off. And over here I have a fair amount of metal spikes as well to, cut down on the wave of Zeds that come down in little hordes. I'm really proud of my rooftop though. I spent a lot of time improving this entire area and building. But let's start with the existing building, because when I came up here, basically I love this little room that's on top of the bookstore. There's a few boxes up here and a leather crate. Boom, get those. Boom, boom, boom. There's usually some bookshelves that are searchable. This one didn't have any bookshelves in the back, so I destroyed them and got rid of them. But there were a couple over here that would respawn. I put in my storage things. I put in some fireplaces, and boom, you got yourself a base. That's all you need. One room little outpost if you need it. I just decided to go a little further. I replaced a lot of the floor with it basically extended the carpet and put some flooring in to make it look a little less like less ominous. I painted the cobblestone wall that I put back here with painted brick. On the outside I put in some lockers, put in some little tubes like shelving. On one side there was some duct work. I decided I wanted to keep the duct work, so I built a building around it and turned it into a bathroom with a cabinet, storage. There's the duct that's still there. I don't want to destroy something that adds character to the building, so I left the ducts for the air conditioning units. Little side garden over here. Put in some, again, for character, I put in some sandbags. Up above are my primary solar panels. We'll get up there next. I put in, this staircase has gone through a few revisions, but I liked it now. So I painted the little planters, gives them a nice little farmy look. So this is my primary, this is the reason why I built this, because you saw my garden at my other base, and it's kind of a drive. It's a little hour, 2 hour drive to get over here. And I was tired of always running out of food, and so I was like, you know what, I need more garden space, and there's plenty of wasted space on top of this roof. So I converted this into a garden, but it was still largely just an outpost with a garden on top, and I just kept building and building and building around it. This side also had one of those air conditioner duct type things. It had this, and it pretty much fills the room, but I decided I wanted a staircase down, so this is the staircase that goes down into the garage. Then I built a building around it. Got some steel, looks like nice reinforced walls with the sandbags and everything. I like the way that looks. I created a window over here so I could access the machine gun turret. Nice window, put some windows over here. I intended to do something similar to that. I really, really wanted to convert this into a greenhouse. As you can see, I built kind of a door around it. But the corn was a problem because the corn stands up so dang tall. If I want to do a greenhouse in there, I won't be able to grow corn in it, or I'm going to have to grow corn in the middle where it's going to be at the highest pitch level. Again, I really, really wanted to convert this into a greenhouse, but I'm just not going to have time to figure it all out. And I also wanted a screen door, which I can't build, which irritates me as well. I fixed any of the damage that were on the little structures on the roof. Some of them I replaced with my own little, you know, character things. Other times I didn't. I also have fencing around the entire rooftop, which is a nice little graphic appeal. I got my smithy area there. Nice fencing around here. So I got a couple of power cells over here. Got three more up on here, generating power for my entire base. The series of powers and wires and so forth. So all the guns, I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of guns and lights and the electric fence. It's just a lot of power. Fenced in area over here. This is the existing little ladder that goes down. I have had one, destroyed it, built it, rebuilt it, whatever. I'm happy with it now because I got a fenced in gate, flower garden. I moved my workbench was inside the little room, and I moved it out here once I figured out what I wanted to do with this space. Um, Nice little roofed in area. The wall over here, I really like the way I did this. So these are steel walls, and then I gave them, like, this one has the corrugated metal paint on it, and this one looks like ductwork. The wooden panels are all wood, but I gave them different painted styles. So this one looks like a like old white painted. This one looks like it's burnt. This is two different style of wood because this is what you would have in a base. You'd reprocess or repurpose um, wood and metal bits that you find out in the world and convert it into walls. Another metal section um, with like vents, and then with this, I'd put in the little fence, one of these little chain link fences that has a bar around it. It turns it into a nice little window. So I really like the way that looked. That kind of thing is what I'm going to be doing with future base builds. I want them to look a little more, you know, salvaged. Again, I fixed the things over here. I replaced all the windows, replaced some of the concrete bits. Never did figure out anything to do with this space other than what it is. I have a nice little cellar door which goes down into our area down there. Big tree. I'll tell you what I like about the tree. You can see it from pretty much anywhere in the city. And cities aren't known for having their giant trees, so you can see where my base is from pretty much anywhere as long as you're not on the other side of a skyscraper. Back here, we have like a little stair down area. This is going to be my little barbecue pit kind of area. It's like on top of the roof of the garage down there. It's a nice little barbecue area. I thought about converting it into another apartment. This is a building. I decided to build an actual room, a whole little apartment. Furnished, painted the walls, got everything nice. This thing had an air conditioner unit that came all the way out. I destroyed it all the way back to here, and then I redirected it to go up. So the air conditioner is on the roof rather than in the middle of the floor. I like keeping that stuff. And again, it adds character. Can't build an air conditioner unit. I had to go and buy one. You know, I have to buy some of this stuff you can't build. You have to purchase from merchants. Other things you can't buy it or create yourself. Reinforced windows. I got some stained glass windows, which doesn't really look great from here, but from the outside it looks neat. Like that. See, air conditioner on the roof. I had to find a lot of solutions for this stuff. I got the roof to look the way I wanted it to look. I had to learn a lot about the various building components and the different shapes you can build in order to do this. I really like this base. There's so much more I could do with it, but, well, if they're going to make it so I can't play it anymore, then it makes me really not want to invest this kind of time and energy into making bases because they're just going to get obsoletized and destroyed. I don't know if obsoletized is a word, but it works for me. I really like this base. Spent a lot of time here. I was looking forward to making more improvements. I'm glad I got as far as I did. I did most of the projects that I got. You know, I got this room built, but it's not fully furnished. I did want to put a bed and stuff in here, but, you know, sad. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, another thing. If you're looking to build a base in the downtown area, this was just kismet because this is one of my. I already said this is my favorite outpost location. The Crack-a-book with the little. There's a lot of different kinds of Crack-a-books. This is the Crack-a-book that has the little building on the roof, just to be specific about it. Um, but in the backyard are some of my favorite places to fight off the horde on the 7 day events. One of them is the Dunphy Hospital, which I love to because of my style of fighting. I've blocked off the walls. I've replaced segments of this because every once in a while they get destroyed. You can tell I have probably spent at least 7 or 8 of the horde nights on top of this roof battling. I replaced this one specifically with an open side because when I'm yeeting Zeds off of here, I want to, and I've gotten them out to about the last two, right about there, is about as far as I've knocked one. I wanted to go get some paint and paint like numbers out there as a scoring platform, but you can't paint on the asphalt. I would have had to have built individual little structures and painted them. They just seemed to be too annoying. I gutted this out so I had more room to work. So basically, I back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, heat, and then move forward, back up, back up, back up. It's a great place to knock them out. I always leave this door locked. If I do get overrun or overwhelmed by the numbers that come up, like every once in a while I try to feed myself or heal myself and then a bunch of Zeds get up on the roof, then I can back up to here. Make sure you clear it ahead of time because there are Zeds that spawn up here. And then I just start yeeting them off the roof on that direction. It's a nice, it's nice to have a place you can back up to. Um, if those get destroyed and you don't replace them, because I always carry around a couple of extra either wood or steel or something and change their shape to make them look like the walkways. Inside, if you leave this door, if the door is already open or if it gets destroyed or you just open it, this is a good place to fight them off too. Just destroy the top level of the stairs, and the Zeds will come at you. They will come up here and try to get at you, and you can bonk them from here. And if you want to get daring, you can go down and face them, and if they start to overwhelm you, just jump back up into the safe zone and go back down and do it again. Um, it works. I have blocked off the doors to make it even harder. That just encourages them to dig through the walls, though. So I don't. It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you don't block off the walls, then the Zeds come in larger groups. If you do block off the walls, then they end up trying to damage the superstructure a lot more. Oh, where's the elevator? That's where it is. Doop doop. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to break my way out of here. Oh, did I leave any windows? Doesn't matter. We're gonna leave anyway. Oh, well, actually, no, not yet. Here we go. That's one of my favorite 7 day nights. Whenever I want to just hang out. My other one, my absolute favorite one, is the Joe Brothers Builders that's right next to Mama's Pizza. You'll find these in almost every big city as well. There's a couple of prep things you should do. One, knock out the 2 lowest rungs of the ladder so the Zeds just don't climb up automatically. This will force them to use the staircases in the middle. Not that it matters, they will break through the walls, but most of the time they don't figure out that they can break through the wall and then jump on the ladder. So I've replaced and fixed all the ladders just to give me access, but they won't climb on the ladder very often, as long as you knock off the bottom 2 rungs. If the bottom 2 rungs are there, they will use it. Um, and this top one, once you've cleared the existing Zeds that are up here, they can never get up here. If they were smart enough, they could break through the wall down there and climb up the ladders, but they're just not prone to do it very often. They generally try to go to you and then try to climb to you or break the walls or the pillars that are below to try to get to you. But I love this because of all the extra treasure. If you don't use this thing for a while, show up and boom, these will respawn. Pick up some more stuff. Take it back to your vehicle, come back up, and you're ready for another 7 day event. It's very easy to defend from up here. And if you don't have the strength or you don't have the guns, Basically, you can wait them out up here. If you do have the guns, you can just continue to shoot at them. There's a lot of little strategies. Sometimes I fall down into this floor, yeet them off of here, but then get over on top of this building, boom. Now they come at you from this direction, bam, bam. They'll try to get up on here, bam. Try to get up over here, bam. And if nothing else, and you have to retreat, there's a pretty easy way to get off the building, boom. Go get in your vehicle and find another place to, you know. This isn't necessarily my favorite place to be on the 7 day, but I've spent enough times in the Ostrich Hotel to know, yeah, down here is great if you want to get the respawning treasure. It's a great place too. Look at all that. So much stuff. So much stuff. Where are you at, robot? Don't worry about it for now. But it's not down here that you want to be. Obviously, if you haven't cleared the place out in a while, it'll respawn with Zeds. The rooftop is actually kind of good. Again, I've removed the lower ones on here, but if you don't remove it, they will all just keep climbing this thing and climbing this thing. It's a nice, very tall climb. Now, I wouldn't recommend going any higher because they will destroy the thing eventually and fall down, but you can either yeet them off for there, or you got the whole rooftop to play with if you need to back out of it. I created a little space, so if I want to yeet them off easier, they won't hit the walls. And if you're like me and you're a jumper, you know, you can always get on top of an area that they can't reach if you need to heal up. Then, the same thing with these. Remove the top staircase. They will continue to run up here and try to get up here. I remove more than I need to, because if you leave a little bit, they will jump up and get to you. You want enough of a gap that they can't get to you, but they think they can, so they like to come up here and then they fall down the stairs, and then they climb back up and then they fall down the stairs. Meanwhile, you can continue to bash them or shoot them or whatnot. Like I said, this isn't my top place to have to spend the Horde night, but it's not bad. Helps if you're not afraid of heights. I particularly don't like heights. It just was coincidental that some of 3 of my favorite Horde night locations just happened to be in my backyard. So it was a great location, but it won't necessarily be that way for you. Okay, now. For Dead of Winter. After I had been playing that location for a while, I was getting anxious. I wanted to, try a new game, learn some, apply some of the stuff I had learned. So this was my next game, and I've been playing this thing through, for the last few months, a couple of months at least. I found a base really early in my play, and I stuck with it, and I really, really like this base location. I'll probably never build here again, just like the police station. I'm not going to redo the same thing. I want to do something different. So I know that in a couple of weeks, when the new version drops, I will be playing that game. I'm going to try to find a place I've never built a base before and build there. I will probably record some playthroughs, but the early part of the game is just so much grinding. It's so boring to watch. The bear den. You're familiar with the bear den, right? There's the floor on the second floor had 2 bears in it in cages. And on the side of the building it says, face the bear, eat for free, or drink for free. Yep. Anyway, my original spawn location for this game wasn't too far away from this little town, and it is a little town. So here's the deal with this map. This is the largest map I can build in the current version of the game. And I forgot how much of a pain that was for a single... I don't recommend single players playing on the largest maps. Here's the thing. If you play on the smaller map, like in the last game, it was one of the smallest maps you could build, might even be the smallest. You still get the same cities, but they're so much closer. So you don't have to spend so much time traveling between them. This thing is so big, and it's just a pain in the butt to travel. It takes forever. It takes a good long time to travel to the big cities in the wasteland from where my base is. Um, it's trying. If you're playing multiplayer, this would be fun. But in single player, I do not recommend playing on the larger maps because you're not getting any more content. It's just a lot bigger and more dead space in between. The cities are still going to be the same size roughly. Maybe there's a few more cities. There's going to be some more POIs out in the wilderness, but it's just more mountain ranges and more endlessly driving. And believe me, before you get a vehicle, it's an absolute nightmare. Um, I traveled on foot from here to here, and that was about all I could do. That was so far away. It wasn't until I started getting the mini bike that I started to explore a little further out. Now I have a motorcycle and I'm able to do a lot more further expansion and exploration. But I still haven't found the little Wild West town. You got to let me know if that's still in the game. It was in my old versions of the game, and I haven't found one yet in the version 1.4. The the old Wild West town. Anyway, so I spawned next to this little town. There's a mine over there. You got Judy Witch's farm over there, which is one of my favorite places to get quick loot. I got the big giant tower here. Got the fire station over there. We got the the Butcher Pete's gruesome little restaurant store, and a lot of little, there's quick lube and there's a little medical outpost and stuff. Good locations. Nothing really crazy. It is a small town, but it's got some pretty built up buildings for a small town. But then there's the bear den. So I'm not going to go into how I did it, but it's a great location for a base with some glaring weak points. I have fixed this entire building. Fixed the holes. I even fixed like fences that were out here. If you noticed, I replaced the broken fence that was there. The ones that I left open were for reasons, to let the Zeds give them a gap to come in, because otherwise they'll just destroy their way through. Every once in a while I have to put some more spike traps out here. I put in a set of double doors on the front door to keep it fortified, and that's their favorite choice. They always try to go through the door. The other place they like to get up on here and break through, which is why that's been replaced. They also get over here and work on this wall. Some of these they didn't actually break through. I just upgraded and fixed them because I was tired of them trying to break through. And in the back, there's this little recessed area in a garage. Well, I had to replace the garage door. And they got these pillars. Of course, just like the other place, I put concrete around it to keep the Zeds from annoying me too much back here. So I have a nice little drive-in area. All I have is a motorcycle, so it doesn't need to be any bigger than this. Backside, I kind of left the debris alone. I like the way it looks with the crap lying around. It's nice and fortified. Zed's got through there. I had to replace that. Ever since I got this current setup, though, it's been pretty good. I have some platforms built. I intended to put some machine guns and stuff up here, but I'm not going to bother with it now. That's generally the way I get in and out of the building, is just by hopping in here. Throughout the place, I removed all the garbage. I left the bottles because I think they add character. And the existing chairs and stuff are here, but I added in a few extra ones because, again, adds a little more flavor. I put in a mailbox, so if I'm want stuff to put in here, what am I carrying this for? Stick it in here. I'll deal with it later. I replaced holes in the walls where needed. I love some of the stuff. You can't build one of these. You can't build a bear rug. So I didn't. I love that. Adds character. Can't build one of these. Adds character. So I replaced every single broken cabinet in the game and repainted and made them so they all look natural. Great for storage. So this little bar area has been fixed up. Um, the brewery area, largely I haven't done much with it. I intended, using this as my garage, I intended to put my chemistry lab down here. Haven't gotten around to it. The elevator, I removed the little access point, so now the Zeds don't even, try to get in here. That's why they don't try to get in the back area anymore. replace that. That's one way that you can get in and out. It's kind of like the emergency exit. I replaced and fixed the staircase because it was all broken up. That's the spot where that dang Zeds got in one time. I'm not going to let that happen again. So the upstairs area, I have completely divided it up into like my own little workable area. This is the first time some of the stuff I'm going to be showing is going to be revealed. I'm going to start on the roof with some of the stuff I've done. So I built little platforms um, for the garage doors. You take this down, and there's the access point that goes down into the garage. Nothing is down here. I haven't gotten around to doing lights. I've got a power system set up, but I'm still using torches everywhere. So that's my power array. The rooftop garage, I've recently fixed this up. Everywhere you see the building blocks is stuff I did just the other day. In anticipation of doing this video, I wanted to, instead of saying, well, I wanted to do this, I was going to do that, I decided, well, let's just throw it together. It's unfinished. Obviously, I'll convert these to wood or metal or something, and then I will paint them and make them, give them a better appeal. But you can at least see what I was intending to do. So on top of the elevator, the top floor of the elevator shaft, is this empty flat space. I right away when I first got up here, I said, okay, I'm going to put power cells up there. It's facing south, which is where you want your solar arrays to face if you live in the northern hemisphere. One on the floor, one elevated 1, one elevated 2, one elevated 3, and I have yet to purchase this last one. And who knows if I'll get a chance to. We'll see. Space here doubles as a area that you can look out the surrounding areas. Nice little spot. Back here, got a little lounge area. These chairs are, you can find them in all over the place. So I just keep picking them up, and then I find a use for them back in my base. I got my 3 water collectors. You never really need more than that. I guess 4 would be a little more round number, but 3 is nice and workable. I just built this. Again, anything you see with building blocks is something I just built yesterday. Because this was damaged area and I wanted access to this lower roof area, but I have no idea what I was going to use down here and do anything. At least I'm going to put a railing on here. You know, I could have converted this. I could have like put walls up and turned these into apartments or rooms or whatever. It's a nice little space. It's lots of space on top of this roof. It's high above the ground. You never have to worry about the Zeds getting up here. It's just, this is nothing but potential. And I'm upset that I'm going to lose the opportunity to continue my build on this thing. The existing fire escape, we'll use that to go down. And immediately I knew I was going to put gardens up here, so I lined the old vents with garden spots. A little garden spot there. Over here I got the little produce baskets, which again looks nice. I put my seeds in here, and then when I harvest these, I put the fruit over here until I take it downstairs to the kitchen. Then I grab all the seeds I have and go planting in all the different spaces. Again, I threw this together last night because I had a vision. I wanted to put some kind of a tower or defensive structure around it, or at the very least just a catwalk, and that's kind of what I did. So we have a lookout area over the streets around it from this side. It's really nice. You can really get a good view of everything from up here. Staircase to go up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with up here, if this is just going to be a shooting platform or I don't know. And then down below, overlooking the garden area, we got this little thing with another platform on the south side. Again, looks over the street, the neighboring buildings. Adds defenses, you know, if anything's scratching on the walls, boom, 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 boom. The existing damage is here. I like that. It's an area that you can throw waste over the side or whatnot. Of course, you want to plant your mushrooms down here in the... I was going to put a little shack or a little, like, building encasing this thing. Didn't get around to it. Okay. So, the power up there, again, I was intending to do like 5, possibly even more, but at the very least I'm going to do 4 up there, and then each of those would be wired into one of the battery banks. So one of these would power the roof, One of these would power the lights and electrical stuff for the inside of the building. One of them would power the guns or the electric fence that I'm probably going to put in, and basically just wire it where I needed. I like the idea of this utilizing the space that wasn't going to be used for anything else. And that handles all my power systems, but of course there's no electricity in this building. Any lights you see on are the existing ones that were in the building when I took over. This I just built yesterday. It was wood without a railing. I said, you know what, it needs a railing, so I replaced it, upgraded it, painted it. It's the only thing I kind of finished. The staircase doesn't actually go down, it's broken, as you can see from the parking lot, but this is a good spot to fall down, and it's another quick escape. This is the dining area for the base, or if you want to, do open mic night or stand up comedy. Most of the chairs and tables in here were original. I have replaced holes in the little railing to make it a little more safe. I put in these little planters. Or actually, the planters were here, but I've been using those as farming. Put in a few more chairs. So that is the dining area. This is the kitchen. You know how I know that? Because it says kitchen. I have the little service tray area here. I stuffed in a box for the foodstuffs. Replaced the refrigerator with one I can use. Put my cooking stuff down there. Put a microwave on top of the refrigerator. Fixed the hole that was in the ceiling here. So the current, if you're going to cook, you're going to cook on here. The heat's going to go up and gets caught in the air vent thing, and it basically goes out the pipes right outside where that little lounge area was up above. Replace the stove. I've got my ingredient stuff. Where's that at? Oh, I don't know where all those went. Some of my ingredients for making purified water and some medicine stuff was in here. All the rest of my foodstuffs are in here, except for the things I want to put in the refrigerator, like eggs, meat, the snowballs, and the blueberries. I got to keep those cool. But all this stuff is the dry goods. This is basically everything else, and some of the cooked recipes and stuff that I need to, chew on every once in a while. So that's what I did with the kitchen. Now the rest of this, I could basically converted to one thing or another. So there's my claim block. Gives you perfect control over this entire building. This building is about the perfect size for one of these claim blocks. You can go too big, if you like the police station. I can't quite incorporate the entire walled-in area and the entire building in one blocked area. This thing can encapsulate the entire structure of this building, so that's nice. So this was the men's and women's bathrooms, and I've again converted them. So this one is the toilets. All lit up. We got fire. I replaced. There was a big hole in the wall here. I replaced it and repainted it to make it, seamless. This is supposed to be a full-length mirror. And then showers. Left the sink, but I converted the shower stalls bathroom stalls into shower stalls with a locker, mirror. I took out the big seats and turned these into bedroom areas. So we got one there. Just as an example, you can do it like this. This little space I can't really use for anything, but if I wanted to put one decorative item in there, or I can remove these walls. And then there's another thing you could do. You could put down some bed rolls, stand. There's a cage on both sides of the bar area, and this one I automatically knew what I was going to do with it. I was going to use this as my workstation. You don't need to do this, but I did it. With all the different stuff that I use, so the medical stuff, the assorted parts. Got my raw materials, the biomaterials, and then I got my mods. So I got my melee mods, the gun mods, the armor mods, the tool mods, auto parts, weapon parts, pretty much any weapon, armor crafting type of stuff I threw down here. Tools, grab these and go do stuff. And then I got my explosive storage there, explosives and fire weapons. put in the forge on the back side, so it's a nice little work area. Like down below, I replaced every single broken cabinet, and there are a lot of cabinets because they are both below and above, and I replaced all the ones that were open or broken. So, talk about storage. These give you plenty of storage for everything you want to store. There's enough storage here for multiple players to share this location. Between this area and the bar down below and the existing boxes you can put in here, it's pretty crazy. Space back here. The existing boxes I use to hold some stuff. But that's a lot of storage. I am currently not really utilizing, I'm only using these couple to hold a couple of things. I took out the old broken tables and chairs and bottles and stuff, built my own tables, put in the laundry area. So that's a nice little laundry area. Again, since we're not using this for eating and dining and stuff, this is the other last thing I did, and it's not quite complete. I still have the rest of the cage to remove because I don't really want it. I might leave the top row, I'm not sure. So, before I look at this, let's... Oh. You won't be able to see it because I'm sharing this screen, not my screen, I don't think. Let's see. No, because you're looking at this. I'd have to change my screen for you to see it. That's too bad. Let's see. Nope, I can't change my capture midstream, I don't think. Well, I can, but I don't want to. Anyway, I found, through wandering through somebody's building, I found a hot tub and I took a snapshot of it because I wanted to incorporate something like that, and I wanted to know what building pieces were needed, and so I built one. This is actually bigger than the one I found. The one I found was only a 3x3 space, and it had some furniture things in it that I can't do, so it must be something that in their graphic building of blocks, a pre-built like hot tub area. So I kind of built this on my own, found a way to make it work, filled it up with water. It's two areas, so you can tell that you use this as a seating area. Oh, I love that stairway that goes right up and over. That's nice. I'm really proud of this. It beats another bedroom area. I wanted something that was different, something that required a little bit of construction and something that, be appealing. Again, I don't have lights. The existing little things that go up, and there's a duffel bag up there I haven't looted yet, but it's on the upside, and I don't want to break the ceiling just to get to it. Really like the way that looks. Painted it nicely. So I didn't paint the staircase yet or given it any shape. It's still building blocks because if you notice, the staircase ones are on square pillars and the top is circular, and they don't really line up real well. I don't know. I'm probably just going to have to just leave it, but looks nice. I really, really like the way that turned out. I think that's it. I have some secondary outposts in this game, but I don't have any other bases. This is my big base. I did most of the things I wanted to do with this. The fact that I got that hot tub built and I've got most of the electrical stuff set up, but here's the thing about the electrical. That looks impressive, having all those arrays up there. He can't build these stupid things. You have to buy them. And those are the only solar cells I've bought. I don't want to buy the level 1 ones because they're just crap. I bought a few 2s and 3s. That's it. These are empty. So it's been hard enough for me to be able to find these to buy, which are relatively inexpensive compared to the stupid solar cells. The cells are ridiculously expensive, and you can't build any of that stuff. So it's just random chance of whether a merchant happens to have them. So I just keep hitting up merchants over and over until I get them. And that's that. Rainy day here. I really like this base. I was really hoping to have more time with it, but my days in this game are numbered. Probably gonna... one of these days I'm gonna load up and want to play, and oh, nope, they're not available, and they're uploading the new game, and in some ways, I'm excited. I can't wait to try it, but I'm really disappointed that I just have to lose all of the work I did in these other games and start all over again, because that's kind of upsetting. The other game, I'm fine with more or less. I mean, even though I spent a lot of time on that police station and even more time on the Crackbook location, but there isn't anything for me to do in that game. This game, I'm only on day 88. Um, I got my armor where I want it, and I got my weapons finally where I want them. But in terms of my skills and stuff, I got a long way to go. I've barely scratched the surface in my skill sets. So this is a game that I still had a lot to accomplish. The other game I'd already done everything. I'd done all of those, and I'd had done all of these except for I think the gold, silver, raw diamonds. That was like that, and some of the hunting challenges because I never kill animals really, unless I absolutely have to. Were the only challenges I had left to accomplish. So there wasn't really anything left for me to do in that game. This game, I still had a lot of playing to do. I was looking forward to doing more missions and leveling up and getting this base even more, you know, more interesting to look at. Hmm. But that's that. That's the way it goes. My next video will probably be a 2.0 new video playthrough. Um, I guess I'll probably record my first play and just have it as a first time play. We'll see how much of that is new and how much of it is different. I hope you tune in. So far, the last few months, I've only been posting one video a month at the beginning of the month, and this is the 1st of June. But I imagine I'll be recording more videos once the new game comes up, and we'll see. It'll probably be more on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, but it all depends. Watching me grind for resources isn't exactly entertaining, so at least one video the first time so you can see me die about 12 times as I try to find my first outpost. But after that, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. I like sharing this content with people, and hopefully somebody gets something out of it. If you see something if it inspires you to go do something cool with your base builds, that's incredible. Because, I enjoy the base building. This is an evolution. Before I was playing this game a lot, I was playing Conan Exiles, and I have some fantastic bases in there. I'd love to show off those as well. And before that, I was designing really cool houses playing The Sims 3 back in the day. I've got a lot of really cool Sims 3 houses built. Um, I really enjoy these base building survival games, but I love zombies, and so this is by far my favorite of that genre. Uh, we'll see going forward what new things this game has to offer. Thanks for watching. See you next time.